Welcome to the Sustaining Creativity Podcast. I'm your host, Mari Riesberg. Over the past several years, I've combined my degrees in acting and somatic psychology to share my sustaining creativity techniques with performers. And now I've decided to share it with a bigger audience that includes you. I believe we are all creative, and this podcast is all about that. I'll be interviewing people from all backgrounds, ages, and creativity experiences to share just how creative we all are. Today, I'll be chatting with creative writer Bintou Kaba. Please enjoy Bintou Kaba. Welcome to the Sustaining Creativity Podcast. Today, I'm chatting with Bintou Kaba, creative writer. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
I am super excited to chat with you about creativity today. I know you have a lot of things going on in your life creatively, but before we get there, why don't you take a couple of minutes and let our listeners know a little bit more about who you are and what you do?
Sure. My name is Bintou Kaba. I am a creative writer. I've been writing since I was 10 years old. In July, I'm gonna turn 20. Let's see. I first started off with short stories, and then I progressed into writing novels and writing scripts and things like that. And I also write a little bit of film and a little bit of songs.
Nice. I love it. And you also write poetry, is that true?
Oh yeah, you're right.
Nice. What's kind of your favorite, if you had a genre, do you have a favorite between film and creative writing and poetry and songs?
I like writing them. The thing is, I like writing all of them, but I like doing poetry. Like, if I
Y-
could choose one, poetry would probably be the one.
Yeah. Why is poetry the most exciting for you?
Probably because it's similar to rap, and I am a huge rap and hip hop fan. So,
Mm, nice. I love it. And writing since you were 10,
yeah.
what started you on this writing journey?
Actually, my dad, he's a storyteller, and he used to tell me bedtime stories. Like
Mhm.
when I was a kid, like he would just make them up as he goes along. But then he had to stop because of work, which,
Mm,
okay, that's reasonable, but like my younger self really missed those stories. So
mhm.
I just started to write my own.
Kind of taking the baton from your dad and writing the stories. I love it. That's awesome. Well, when you think about creativity, what does it mean to you to be creative?
Expressing yourself with art.
Expressing yourself with art. I love that. Yeah. I mean, when you think of expressing yourself with art, what comes to mind?
Well, when it comes to expressing myself, I usually use poetry, so poetry comes to mind a lot.
And what kind of poetry is it? Rhyming poetry or
Yeah,
something
it's
else?
rhyming,
Hmm.
pretty much. I think
Nice.
poetry is fun.
Yeah, I love. Where do you find your inspiration for poetry?
Well, I mean, I never really got inspired to write poetry. It was more like I'm tired of writing books all the time, so let me do something new.
Mhm.
Just poetry I found. But a lot of rappers such as Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, and Nicki Minaj, a lot of the older generation of rappers have inspired me, and I will read their lyrics online and just try to understand the double meaning behind it
Mm.
and the wordplay, and just try to add that into my writing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love it. I love the double meaning and the wordplay. Do you have, in your own poetry lexicon, do you have favorite poems that you've written?
Yeah, I do. Some of them are in my album actually. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. Tell us a little bit about your album.
sure. My album's called um Reaching for the Stars. Reaching
Mhm.
for the Stars basically means following your dreams. Um, with manifestation, affirmations, things like that, just positive
Mhm.
vibes.
Mhm.
It has 10 poems inside, And the themes are confidence, success, personal growth, um, embracing one's natural beauty. Like I talk about my afro a little bit and my dark skin in my
Hmm.
album.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, just positive vibes.
I love it. What drew you to these specific themes?
It's mainly from for me. I just left a toxic situation, so I really needed a confident boost.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, if I just incorporate confidence in my writing, perhaps that could manifest me to have more confidence in myself. Something
How's it
like that.
working?
I was doing pretty good. Like I would add affirmations throughout the album, so that kind of resonates with me a lot. So we do that.
Nice. What are some of the affirmations that you have woven into the album?
For the poem, the first one is called "Reaching for the Stars." What's it called? The affirmation is called "I attract success and peace." With that, I my doubts got released. Eversley, my money flows to me.
I
So
love that. Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. Yeah. Nice.
mm,
Well, working as an artist and putting together an album and novels and books, I imagine you come up against challenges in the process. What are some of the challenges you have come up against and how do you navigate them?
well, when it comes to the album, I found this producer online who's happy to help me. And we were like working together, right? And everything was perfectly fine. Like I record everything, he does his part,
Mm-hmm.
but he ended up going to rehab
Mm,
out of nowhere, and I'm just like, "What? Rehab? Like we're halfway done." So I'm just sitting here with like almost halfway done album on my laptop, and I'm
yeah.
like, well, I tried. And like I didn't want to give up obviously, but it really discouraged me.
Mm-hmm.
But thankfully, I got signed to a independent label like a few weeks after that, so I was able to get a sound engineer like that. Like my manager basically helped me to
Mm-hmm.
find one
Mm,
for like a pretty cheap price, and he's still working on it. So
nice. It sounds like you just were sticking with it, didn't want to give up, and would figure out how to make it happen for yourself.
mhm.
Is that how you kind of face challenges in the rest of your life as well, head on, or are there other things that help you?
Yeah, facing it head on helps me. Is just I'll try to find things that's within my control and just try
Mm,
to make it easier for me.
yeah.
But of course, there's things that's out of my control. So, like, sometimes I'm just like, well, I mean, I don't know what else to do. This is out of my control. So, eh, I tried. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
that
tried my
makes sense.
best, basically.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
that trying your best, that's all we have, right? We can try. Hopefully we get some help along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. When it comes to kind of inspiration and being inspired by people or things in your life, who or what is currently inspiring you?
Let's see. Currently, right now, or
Yeah.
oh, sure. It will probably be like movies I see online, like
Hmm.
high school movies, movies on Netflix, things like that. Wakanda 1 and 2 that inspired me to write my book actually.
Mm,
Yeah. And the Little Mermaid live action version, that inspired me to write my book as well.
nice.
Um, yeah, just media online and everyday life.
Mm.
So yeah.
What in everyday life inspires you?
One poem I wrote, is called Feeding Allure, which is about a 13-year-old white kid. He's from the suburbs. His name is Kevin, but he's very drawn to the hood life,
Mm,
like, guns, money, women, things like that. And he's like drawn to it. And he actually joined the gang, but of course, that's not like how reality is for
hmm.
being a gang member. So sadly, Kevin gets shot.
Mm-hmm.
which I'm sure that's like in the real life world. I mean, it sounds realistic to me, so I'm assuming it's like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm.
So when I say everyday life, I'm talking about tragedies in
Mm-hmm.
like life, things like that.
Yeah. Okay. And when you're in that creative process, what is it like for you to be writing or thinking up, taking ideas from your mind to the page? What's that process for you?
Well, it really depends on what I'm writing on. Like either it's a book or a poem or song or film. But for poetry and songs, they're similar. It's just me having my notebook and having a pencil and just drawing down any ideas I have like in bullet points.
Mm-hmm.
And just, when I'm done with that or when I think I'm done, which I usually spent like 5 minutes on it,
Hmm.
brainstorming process, and then I will just write it on my laptop and that's it.
Nice. And what about for books and novels that might take longer,
Yep.
maybe?
Yeah. For novels, I'll write a short summary about the book
Mm.
and then like 2, 3 sentences maybe, and
Mm-hmm.
then I will outline the first 5 chapters. Then I will write those chapters.
Mm-hmm.
Then I will outline the next 5 chapters. Then write those, and it's a cycle of outlining 5 chapters, then writing them until I'm done.
Sounds like a very structured process that you have. What happens if you get stuck on an idea or in the middle of something and something doesn't feel like it's working? How do you navigate that?
Like, I will just like take a break mainly.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I feel like I'm getting disorganized or something, or getting a little too stressed out when it comes to a story.
Mm-hmm.
But usually it's just the first draft, so I'm just like, okay, we'll just get the book done, and then when it comes to the second draft, I'll just fix out everything, like the plot holes
Yeah.
possibly could be having.
Sure. I mean, that's great perspective, I think, when it comes to writing, to be able to just remind yourself that it is a first draft and there will be additional iterations of it later.
Hmm.
Where did you learn that strategy, or is this just something that you inherently have?
I mean, I've been having that mindset
Mm.
since I don't even know, like high school when I took my writing more seriously.
Mm-hmm.
But like also I would see posts on Instagram and be like, "Hey, your first draft is like a baby. Like it's
Mm.
starting to grow up. So don't beat it down so much." So um yeah. So I would see that quote and be like, "Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense."
I
So
like that perspective. I think it's for sure helpful in the process.
it is.
Yeah. Well, for people who may not think that they're creative, how would you encourage them to find creativity in their life?
Um I would tell them just read stories from other authors and just watch movies and things like that,
Mm.
and just maybe hope that creativity will come to you. Because
Mm-hmm.
the thing is with me, my creativity kind of just came out of nowhere, like this. When I
Mm-hmm.
was at a young age, like being inspired by other authors. Like I was reading this dragon book, and I was super obsessed with dragons when I was younger, so I always incorporate them in my writing.
Mm-hmm.
So perhaps from someone else, they can just read something and just ask themselves like what if questions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what if I wrote this book? What would I do? Or what would I change? Or if you're watching like a movie and be like, okay, what if I was the director? What would I change? Or if I was the screenwriter or something.
Mm-hmm. I love that perspective and I love that question, the what if question. That's such a powerful way to view life. What if, what could happen? There's so many possibilities, and how would you do something different than someone else? I love that. That's fantastic. What are the things that you find yourself asking what if about?
Mainly when it comes to movies, I would just like be like, okay, what if I was like the director or something?
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, yeah, I want to be a screenwriter, but I do have a little bit of an interest of being a director as well. So,
Mm-hmm.
I just dabble in directing. So I'm just like, okay, what if I wrote this character? How would she be like, or something like that?
How would it
So
be different or how would it be the same? And
yeah.
nice. And when you do that, do you have like a clear vision of it in your head, or is it kind of just ideas?
Um, it really could be just ideas because I'm like watching the movie as I'm thinking. So
Mm-hmm.
that's we have that. But if I'm
Mm-hmm.
really interested of writing a whole movie based on the thought I had, I'll just brainstorm after me watching something.
Mm-hmm. Nice. I love it. Well, it's been such a treat to chat with you. I just have one more question.
Mhm.
What does it feel like in your body to be creative?
It feels great to be honest, and also I feel like it's like destiny a little bit.
Say more about that. What's the destiny piece? I love it.
Sure. Thanks. Um, I don't know, like I gained a little bit of recognition and some success from my writing
Hmm.
this year because I started to show it off more and I've been gaining a lot of opportunities. Like I'm
Hmm.
talking about interviews, press releases, me getting a manager, things like that.
Hmm.
People seeing my vision and believing in my vision. So I feel like it was like destiny for me to be super creative and
Mm.
just to excel in what's it called storytelling.
Nice. Well, I love it. I love the continuing on the storyteller's journey. And for people who are interested in learning more about you and the work that you have out in the world, how could they go about doing that?
They can follow me on Instagram. I'm just going to say my handle.
Yeah.
It's BIN number two underscore rights number one.
Okay.
That's where I have a lot of updates and things like that. I'm more active
Perfect.
there.
Nice. Well, I'll put that in our show notes so people have super easy access to click on it. And thank you again for taking the time to chat with me. I have thoroughly enjoyed our conversation.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Sustaining Creativity Podcast. We'd love to keep in touch, so follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We are at Sustaining Creativity. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. Tag your friends and family so they can listen too. We love to hear from you, so leave your reviews, comments, and questions. Check out our website, sustainingcreativity.com, for upcoming offerings and creativity coaching. Tune in Tuesdays for our next episode. And remember, with creativity, anything's possible.